Chandler. I'm the owner of Codably and a software engineering manager. During my time as a software engineer, I've been hit with a lot of questions from people who are simply curious about the tech space or are newer to coding and are looking to grow in some way. And because I get these questions a lot, I figured it'd be a good idea to make an FAQ video that covers all the commonly asked questions for those who are wondering the same thing. One of the most common questions I get is, how did you learn to code? Where did you start? I don't have experience and I don't know where to start. What do I do? I learned to code at a 10-week coding bootcamp, and at the time, it was a really quick way for me to ramp up my programming skills. And while coding bootcamps are great and are a quick way to learn to code, there's other ways that I wanted to note that don't require you to drop $10,000 on a coding bootcamp. Coursera, Udemy, Free Code Camp, and Codecademy are all common, free, and affordable resources that you can start using today that can teach you the basics of coding. Now, I mentioned that they're free and affordable, and I wanted to note that not all of these are free, but most of these courses don't surpass like 30 bucks. You can go on Udemy and pay a really, really low price to take a coding course in whatever language or category you're interested in, and then upon completing the course, you get a certificate, which makes you look a lot more credible. And you may be thinking, what's the point of going through a coding bootcamp when you can just be self-taught? Why isn't everybody using things like Coursera or Udemy to learn to code? What makes this path a little bit more difficult than going your traditional route of getting a degree or going through a bootcamp is the fact that these courses are self-paced. And it's actually up to you as a self-taught programmer to stay motivated and complete the courses. This requires a lot of discipline and a lot of time to make sure that you're taking the time that you need to learn the material necessary to be a good coder. And for some people, that's pretty quick. Some people pick up quickly, and some people have a harder time. And the benefits of a boot camp is the fact that you are in the same boat with other people who are also new to coding. And this creates a comfortable space for you all to learn from each other and support each other when you're stuck during the boot camp. Additionally, if you take the boot camp route, you can ask questions to your instructor or maybe even get tutoring. In short, either route that you take will give you the knowledge to learn how to code. But for boot camps, you get a little bit more support from your peers and your instructors when you're stuck on certain issues. As a self-taught programmer, it's kind of up to you to figure out those problems for yourself. Another common question I get a lot is, what kind of coder should I be? Well, there's Android, iOS, backend, frontend, DevOps, and much more. In my opinion, I recommend doing a little bit of research on all of these roles and learning the differences between each. And once you have an idea of what each role does, you can then ask yourself, okay, am I more on the creative side? Do I want to work with UI, like front end, iOS, Android, or am I more on the logical side? Do I like working with data more? Maybe I should go towards backend. This will help determine which role you should work towards, since each have a different level of creativity and complexity. Another common question I get is, I'm applying for jobs, but I keep getting rejected. They want me to have more experience, but they aren't willing to give me that experience. What do I do? If you find yourself getting rejected all the time, chances are you don't have the experience on your resume that the jobs you're applying for require. This is 100% normal, especially if you're a coding bootcamp grad or you just graduated from college. I see things like this all the time, and it's something that I went through as well when I graduated from a coding bootcamp. And what I always recommend to people who are in this situation is that your main goal should be to build your resume. And there's many ways you can do this. For one, you can simply build your own projects. If you're applying for jobs that require Node experience, you should have Node projects on your resume. Another thing you can do to build your resume is join a coding group. I've had friends join groups like Girl Develop It, for example, and find real opportunities to build their skills or work on a project. Sometimes when you join groups like this, there's opportunities provided that give you real professional experience. There's many coding groups out there, and if you're in the job market, this is a great way to build new connections and network, and also potentially find professional opportunities. There's also hackathons. I really recommend that. If you're having a hard time finding opportunities, when in doubt, go to a hackathon. It's real experience. There's usually not an interview process. Pretty much everyone's accepted. Even newbies are usually welcomed into a hackathon. It's just an easy way to get some experience to add to your resume. There's also internships and apprenticeships. When I landed my first job, it took applying to over 200 jobs. and getting rejected. It wasn't until I landed an unpaid internship and worked there for a couple months until I started seeing less rejections and getting more opportunities. Despite the fact that that internship was unpaid, job hunting got 10 times easier. In fact, I landed my first position 2 weeks after adding the unpaid internship on my resume. Last but not least, you can freelance. There's websites like Upwork.com that allow you to market yourself as a freelancer. And once you land a project, you're pretty much already on the right path of jumpstarting your development career. You'll gain the experience of a real developer, and you can add that right onto your resume. In fact, you are a real developer at that point. I personally recommend this the most since, for one, you get paid and you're building up real experience that you can apply to future opportunities. And those are the top 3 questions I get asked as a developer, and I hope that this was really helpful for those who have these questions in their head now. I always tell people that anybody can learn to code. We all have access to the same set of resources that make that possible. You can take free courses, you can join a group, you can join a hackathon. There's so many opportunities out there that don't require you to drop a lot of money to learn to code and jumpstart your career. I'll list some sources in the description below if you're curious, and you can get started today. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon with another video.